today. This is such a gift and opportunity to Nocona. I would like to take a second to recognize some of the dignitaries that are here today. I'll begin with, not the least, but Mayor Robert Fenolio, who is my father. Judge Kevin Benton and his wife Cindy, Montague County Judge. Judge Jack McGoy and wife Darlene, he's the 97th District Judge of Archer, Clay, and Montague Counties. State Representative David Spiller and wife Ginger, East House District 68. Senator Drew Springer and wife Lydia, Senate District 30. I believe we have some area representatives from Congressman Ronnie Jackson's office, Mitch Kipp, Jennifer Hankins Lundy, all representing his office. And we have Brian Walker, Second Court of Appeals Appellate Court Judge. Thank you all for being here today. These people represent us well. I'm going to turn this over to Cheryl Johnson. Cheryl is our chamber director. Thank you. Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you guys for coming. And first, we are so excited the Great Race chose Nocona as their overnight stop. We are just beyond thrilled. This is so much for our small town, but it wouldn't be possible without the help of Pete Vicari, Drew Springer, and our very own Barbara and Pete Horton. They own the Classic Car Capital. They own the Horton Classic Car Museum. They believed in our small town, and they have made it the Classic Car Capital of Texas! Woo! We are so excited. Thank you for coming, and let the race begin! Woo! We're out. Peace out.
Guys, it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live out here in beautiful, awesome Nocona. Probably, I'd say about 4:15. Right back here behind me. All the awesome cars from the Great Race are due to come in. So we have the YouTube camera right back there. Behind the scenes for YouTube. You guys, you're on Facebook Live, so you're watching this right now on your smartphone, your tablet, whatever. It's a little windy up here. We were set up closer, but we had a little problem, kind of move back here. Trucks right here just kind of, I guess they're a big sponsor, so they have to park here, so we just moved back to get a better angle, so we weren't shooting right into a trailer. So anyways, probably now about 4:15, you'll probably see the cars start coming in. Cameras kind of lit up. Not straight, but I'm trying to fix it. There we go. I think we're straight now. So, anyways, we have the YouTube camera going back there. I think it goes off, a little bit, but hopefully still recording. So, during each time the cars are here to show up. If you want, go to the website down below. Give me contact, email, and then we can sign you up, because this event is going inside of issue number 21. We're almost out with 20, so 21 is, I believe, the September issue. So this will be that one. And by the way, go check out the YouTube page. You can watch all this stuff behind the scenes. Go there and sign up. You know, subscribe. And keep on watching. Come in right here, right this way, and we'll keep on rolling. says it's cool, get down to earth, all that. And I believe there's that building back there that has a banner that says America's Hat Company. I believe that was Nocona boots. I believe, don't quote me on that, but I think it was, anyways, great little show. Keep on watching if we're still live. Yeah, we're still live. We have battery live people watching. With the battery all, mocked up or backed up. Hey guys, how you doing? One more time. They haven't opened the group yet, so I don't think they started to come in, but you'll see them when they come in. And we're still going live here on this one. I keep on checking back and forth. The cameras working back there. It's awesome. Better than that. If you're wondering what time it's 4:16. I think all the way down the street, all the cars are going to be parking on this side all the way down. So, anyways, we have pretty good crowd already set there. Everything on this side, vendors on this side are the tree. And smart, unlike me, I am out in direct sunlight, and so everybody's eyes are right there on the gate. So any much longer now. Got the camera all set up. So, I think we'll end up happening pretty good, YouTube page. The back YouTube camera. How you doing, sir? We're live on the internet right back here. I want to stand right here. Are you camera shy? You can say hello, Nocona. Hello, I'm right here. Are you wanted? Is that not right? Nobody. Thank you, sir. Great day. Another happy person out today just for this great news. And that's another thing so awesome. That is events they bring out the greatest whether it's just on the grass, like under the shade, or by the bay, on a chair, or the shade, or on the curb, wherever. They're showing their passion and their love for their cars, and you want to keep that going up. 419, we're still waiting on. to watch the live. They start to come yet? And then his are starting to come, y'all, so keep your eyes peeled. Pace car. Here they come, here they come. Keep your eyes. Here they come. It's up to Memphis. Y'all going my round. I'm in a big city. But he's my Georgia man. After just 1 hour, I met this southern girl. Said to call me the queen of Memphis, and she took me around the world. I saw stars dancing on the water. I heard Elvis singing Blue Suede Shoes. Now the river was my witness. Now I'm in love with the queen of Memphis.
Check, check, check. Hello, I'm here. My name's Jason White. I just hustled up from Granbury. We're going to knock this thing out. I saw a whole bunch of your people waving American flags on the way in, and that is what Great Race is all about. Curtis Graham, bring that 32 Ford in here, buddy. This man has the distinguished honor of having been in every single Great Race since it started in 1983. From Irving, Texas, Curtis Graham. 1932 Ford is navigator Robert Dingus from the great state of Alabama. Boys, you have a good day? That's a couple of good dudes right there, great race legends. Curtis won the Great Race back in 1995, Ottawa, Canada, Mexico City, the toughest race we've ever had. Woo, let me get my breath. Curtis is awesome, man. We've been wanting to get back over here, talk to some of his Texas people. There might be some people who don't know what he's done. Way back in 1983, Tom McCrae came up with this idea to do Great Race. He's a Texan. And before he even really knew what he was doing, Curtis sent in his $5,000 to do it and said, I don't know, but it sounds like a good idea. He's been doing it ever since. Man, it's a long way from Granbury here if you're in a hurry. Y'all got big, fast roads too, and it wasn't fast enough for me. Somebody's granddaddy drove right in front of me the last 5 miles, and it may have hurt his feelings. Ooh, come on in here, Mule Skinners. Is that who that is? Come on in here, boys. Little Corvette, this crew out of Missouri. Come on in here and park it. I know it's hot. I've been holding you up. I'll talk about you. Team Whataburger, they got some people here in Nocona. I want you to know that Jeff Stone, the race director who filled in for me there for a minute, he's been telling us for months this was going to be the best stop on the great race, and I'm fired up. I can tell. Man, there was flags. Probably starting 10 miles out, people were finding a spot of shade on the side of the road. The cars come trickling in here. I guess it's just a little over 100 cars still in the race. Started out with about 120. That was James and Lou Good in that little Corvette out of Jeff City, Missouri. Is James. Lou Good calls Dallas, Texas home. That little 65 Corvette's been in 5 great races, counting this one. I missed those boys. They sneaked up on us. Don and Julia Elliott, little Sky Hawk. Yeah, you might have heard where they're from, Abilene, Texas. Come on in here and park that car. Car number 64, Don and Julia, welcome to Nocona. Y'all had a good day, huh? I like the car. Did you tell me, we were talking about your car, it's got high compression heads, or the real deal. It's got a 4-barrel carburetor as well, right? It's as close to a Golden Hawk as you could get with a Skyhawk. Is that fair to say? Bring it on, and lighter. In my world, that's better. Bring it on in. That car looks good. Welcome to Nocona. All right, we're going to catch it up. Bring that Buick on in here, boys. 1950 Buick Super. That's Bubba Andrews from Humble, Texas. Is the driver. Doug Manchester out of Houston, Texas is navigator. 1950 Buick Super. This crew did the race last go-around in a 1932 Buick, which was a cool car. Somehow you've upped the ante. Bring that thing in here. That's probably a little bit smoother ride, isn't it? A little more elbow room. Oh man, we had a really good stop in Granbury. They had airplanes flying over and all kind of cool stuff down there. That's where Miss Sister McRae is from. That's where a great race called home for many years. There is a vintage spaceship leaving. Not sure what that is. And the 3-wheel doohickey. So, I don't know if Jeff got to talk to you a little bit about what the Great Race is. It's basically a time, speed, endurance rally. You get instructions. You need to go from A to B at a prescribed time. That's the simple way to say it. It's pretty hard. There's lots and lots of instructions and speeds you have to follow. If you do it perfectly, you'll end the day with a time of 0 seconds, which is, to my knowledge, only been done one time in 40 years. It's very difficult to be absolutely precise, but the lower the score, the better. So these guys wake up every morning, get their instructions. They don't know where they're going. They just have it one line at a time, and they follow them. Most of the teams have a very precise pedometer made by Time-Wise that they hook up in the car, magnets on the wheels that help it be maybe quarter-mile-per-hour accuracy. They calibrate every morning to make sure that it's still true based on road temperatures and tire pressure and all of that. They take it pretty seriously. The older the car, there's a little bit of a handicap for their scoring every day. The older the car, the better the handicap, so that encourages people to not get the very newest eligible car. If you had a 72 Corvette and a 1916 Hudson and had the same score. The Hudson wins by a factor. Hey, some of my ex-Cup friends from Murfreesboro, Tennessee walking by. There's four or five divisions here. The rookie division, sportsman division is what most everybody competes in. There's an expert when you have a little bit of achievement. When you've won a race, you're in grand champion, and then there's an X-Cup team. Well, I'm proud to say this beautiful Oldsmobile is from the great state of Texas, from New Braunfels. Dan and Pat Martin in their 1948 Oldsmobile. You guys have a good day. They spooked me a little bit. This is their first campaign in this car, and he had to put a fuel pump on it the other day. I didn't feel like that was a good sign, but apparently it was no big deal. Huh? Bring it on in and park that thing, Dan. Pat Martin out of New Braunfels. They got a really cool story. I think they've done a couple of races with us now. Here comes a sweet little Chevy 2. Come on in, gals. This is an all-girls team. Out of Michigan. Car number 97 out of Michigan. This is Aaron Stahl and Miss Marty. All girls, girl power. Got their pink racing stripes. 62. Is it a 62 Chevy 2? 1962 Chevy 2. Come on in and park that thing. Stay a while. There's a lot of people here that want to see you. What a cool car. You got that girl power going. Nice little Nova. Folks, it sure is great to be here in Nocona. I'm Jeff Stone, director of the Great Race. And this stop, if this race had been last year, was going to be in Ardmore, Oklahoma. But we decided that when it became 2021, we definitely wanted to come to Nocona, Texas. And we have gone to great lengths to come here, and you've gone to great lengths to make this a great day. So thank you very much. He's a modest dude, but nobody's worked harder than Jeff to make this happen. There was some kind of thing happened last year that messed our race up, and we had to put it on the bench, put it on ice for a little bit. We tried to punt it to August and couldn't pull it off, and it feels really good to be here in Nocona pulling this thing off. Come on in here, Bill and Carolyn Croker out of Penn Valley, California, 1936 Packard 120B Coupe, Team Habitat. This their 56th wedding anniversary yesterday, was it? Is that right? This is their 10th great race. This is a wonderful couple. Come on, park that car, Bill. 36 Packard 120B Coupe. Bill and Carolyn dedicate their time to helping the rookies. They do mentor classes every night. It's kind of hard to figure all this out, so they do an excellent job. Instead of really working on their game, they invest in people who just come in to make sure they know what they're doing, or at least kind of know what they're doing. Or it's windy, I laid my card down, and it's in whatever is that way. Yeah. I'll catch up here in a minute. I stayed as long as I could in Granbury. There was about 4 cars left. I had to do a mic drop, get in the car, and hammer down, and literally straight in here, just in the nick of time. I heard you guys had a little pregame. I hope you all have as much fun as we're going to have, hanging out and showing off these cars. They'll come in one at a time. They're required to be on display as a part of the rally course instructions, I think, for 2 hours, something along the lines of that. We'll get up tomorrow, they'll get their instructions, we'll do it all over again. I don't have any idea. We're going to Sapulpa tomorrow night? Is that right? Joplin! I hear Joplin coming from the rafters. It sounds like the competition director, and he knows. It takes a whole bunch of help, a whole bunch of sponsors, a whole bunch of volunteers, and a whole bunch of staff to pull this thing off. We're north of 450 people. Competitors included, so the circus moves town to town. It's a bunch of hotel rooms. It's a bunch of work is required to pull this thing off in the off season. And Jeff usually starts a race tentatively 2 years in advance, so about a year in advance he gets the course nailed down, which makes this unusual because this race was started planning 4 years ago. This stupid last year happened. Sorry, just gotta be honest. Last year happened. We had to put it on the shelf, but you know what? I think it's better for it. We upgraded this city stop for sure. 1929 Ford Model A Tudor sedan, Rick and Andrew Green out of Lakewood, Ohio, Tiffin, Ohio, sorry. This car has been in the family 52 years, 29 Model A, great rally car, wonderful example of Henry Ford's deal. He made about $4 million in those days from 1928 to 1931, and he hit a home run. The Model T gets a lot of credit because it made the car mass-produced and affordable, but that Model A was the car you could actually drive down the road. 1937 Ford Tudor sedan, Craig Rubright out of Clearwater, Florida, Garrett Jenkins out of Lakeview, Alabama. Welcome to Nocona, Texas, boys. Way less hot than it was last night, I can tell you that much. It was smoking hot in the temple. Come on in here, show off that car. Take a load off. 1937 Ford Tudor sedan street ride. Former Camel GT endurance racers. That whole group have SCCA race experience. Bringing in here another Model A Ford. This is a beautiful car, 1931 Ford Model A Coupe. This Mike Weaver calls the Villages, Florida home. Welcome to Nocona. He's the driver. Jim Caudle out of Pekin, Illinois, the navigator. Old Goldie's looking good today. Got the hood sides off. Wonderful car, expert division competitors. Right behind them, father-son team Dan and Brad Epple out of Jeff City, Missouri, and a really cool 1934 Ford. This is a York body produce delivery truck. Pretty dang rare these days, looking good. This is their 8th grade race. Love to see the family affairs, the father and son teams. You'll see all sorts of families and siblings and husband and wife, father and son, father and daughter, mother and son. We got it all, and that's what it's all about. You want to make a memory you will never forget. 34 Ford produce truck. You want to talk about flavors of ice cream. Right behind that, a 1969 Saab 96. That has a cool little Ford-sourced V4 engine. It's a 289 cut in half, basically. Brian Blood, Stephen Keller out of McLean, Virginia. Welcome to Nocona, Texas. It's their 8th great race. They won the Sportsman back in 2012. Little Saab is a funky, cool car. Definitely a fan favorite rolling in now. A 1941 Ford pickup truck. It's as slick and pretty as you want it to be. Got it sitting just right. Eric Frankenberger calls San Ramon, California home. He's the driver. Aaron Reed out of Scottsdale, Arizona. He gets to tell him what to do all week long. This is their 3rd great race. Welcome to Nocona, boys. Truck sounds like it's running fine. Good day, baby. Good enough for government work. Bring it on in here. Flying our nation's colors. Every good American ought to be doing. Those boys have had some fun in that truck. They also turned in some pretty good scores in their 3 years. They're going to settle down and win this thing if they can stay focused. So what they're doing is they're seeing the director of competition here, and they're getting their scores for the day. I believe they can turn in discrepancies if they know it at this time. If they've got behind a tractor and they lost 15 seconds, they have to turn in a sheet of paper that says, I think I lost 15 seconds, and they'll take that off. That could be a mistake if you declared that in 14 seconds. But they get over here and find their scores. If you go A to B, I don't know, maybe 4 to 8 stages or legs or whatever it's called a day. The day is called a stage, I'm sorry. So they do 4, 5, 6 legs during the day. If you make it from A to B on one leg perfectly, you get an ace with 0 time, 0 over or under seconds. An ace are highly coveted. You will see on these cars as they come in, you will see the ace stickers on the veteran cars particularly just everywhere. Aces are highly coveted. Actually, one of the ace-getting machines, these people, a fine couple from Kentucky have gotten a brand new car, and so their car with all the 800 aces on it is back in Kentucky. So their new car, I think they got 2 aces yesterday. That's kind of the World War II kill what do you call that, the little painting with the kills on it? This is the great race equivalent of that on the planes. How many planes you shot down there? The aces are really hard to get. This is a tough sport. Yeah, no card.
Yeah, I think, sure.
Pretty excited to tell you all about these cars. There's a whole bunch of variety here this year for sure.
I want you guys to come down maybe this morning. If you or her or somebody email us a big write-up about this right here, we'll take and edit it. And everything I shoot today, this camera's live on Facebook. That's for YouTube. So I have a YouTube behind the scenes page. That's going on YouTube.
All right, we're settled down now. We got ahead of these cars. I was actually worried I was going to be right in the middle of them. You cut it pretty close. Roger and Esther Shackett, come on in here. They have a beautiful 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Roger and Esther have been with us for 9 great races, counting this year as well. Out of Coral Springs, Florida, in the nicest 57 Chevy you'd ever want to see here. Welcome to Nocona, guys. I brought some friends. Are you going to let the air conditioning, they may or may not have air conditioning in this car. Yeah, nice and cold in there. Last night was brutal. Come on, Roger and Esther Shackett out of Coral Springs, Florida. Park that car. Stay a while. We rolled into Temple. It's a hard day yesterday. We started the race, which we don't normally have a ceremony in the morning. We started the race in the morning in San Antonio. Good crowd, whole lot of squawking and cheering and happy times. Had a kind of a different kind of lunch than we normally do that was hosted by the town and not by us. And then went on to dinner. We got to Temple and it was, I think, 641 degrees or something like that. It was so hot. Oh yeah, I was raised in the great state of Alabama. Not quite old enough to have seen one of these, but this is the real deal, a 1972 AMC SST Javelin that was a service car for the Highway Patrol. State troopers in Alabama would have had this thing like a missile, right? 401 V8, this thing is bad to the bone. Bring it on in here. John Kramer, Mark Kramer out of Tallahassee, Florida. That was a 150 mile per hour car legitimately in 1972. They made 12, the first 12 SST Javelins in 1972. My friend, Nick Barely, thank you for all you do. The first 12 cars in 1972 of that were state trooper cars. There's only 3 left on Earth. Isn't it weird that an old police car would be as rare as anything you'd ever see? And there it is. They've done a good job restoring that car. At 150 miles an hour in 1972 was top of the food chain, for sure. That was getting it on barely radial tires, for sure. Oh, you can tune those horns a little bit, but that's a good-looking Bronco, huh? I wish we had a speaker out there so I could talk to him a little bit. I think you got another speaker in your pocket. It's a cool town here. Are we hosted dinner or we got it on our own for dinner? All right. It's a neat little town. I've really enjoyed driving 180 miles an hour on the road and being the slow guy.
Right now, so
Really?
sign up.
Oh, I need a pair of boots. All right. We'll stay a while.
Magazine.com because everything.
I'm sorry, I normally get to find out about where I'm at ahead of time. I'm having to find it out in real time.
Why not? Better yet.
It's a good crowd. Classic Main Street setup is my favorite for great racers. I've been a part of this thing. This is my 10th race. Our company was a sponsor of this race, and Great Race got into some trouble in the late 2000 aughts, and we ended up buying it, putting it back together, and I got thrown in with a circus 2 weeks a year. I've seen a whole bunch of small towns, and this is as good as you'd ever want to see for a crowd. I like it. Man, they were out. Nick, I'll talk to you. You're my friend. They were out 12 or 15 miles out of town, sitting under every spot of shade on the side of the highway. A lot of them had their flags. This is going to be good. The racers are going to feel the love. Well, here's my friends that make a lot of aces. in their 11th great race. The sweetest woman that's ever lived on planet Earth. Her husband's all right too. This is the first year running this car, so it didn't have all of their, like I said, their war stickers on it. But please welcome Gary and Gina Ann Martin out of Fisherville, Kentucky. My friends, and they'll be yours too, 1932 Ford 5-window coupe. Come on in here and park that thing. It's hot, isn't it? What do you think? Before you go up here, what do you think? You think you did good?
I don't know if we used our mojo all up yesterday or not, you know?
Well, I just told everybody you started to sticker this car up yesterday. Go get some more. I bet you got one. They picked up 2 aces yesterday. Gary and Gina Ann, incredible competitors in their 11th great race. First campaign in that little 32. They had a Chevy 2 beforehand. Had a Corona Del Mar, California. Aaron and Brad Kaplan. 66 Ford Mustang Coupe. This is a rare occasion, y'all. You're not paying close enough attention, maybe, but Aaron's the driver, which means that Brad's the navigator. He totally gets to tell her what to do all week long. It's never on earth is that okay, but except in this scenario where she has to drive. It's their 7th great race. Sneaking up on Brad's birthday. I'm going to remind myself and remind him he better not come up missing on the 24th. Pretty cool car, neat little Mustang. Pretty cool 1916 Hudson sneaking up behind me. The navigator's my friend and a big family affair, Dan Stahl out of Grosse Pointe Shores, Michigan. Dan and his whole family come along. They somehow talked my friend Brad Phillips into driving this crazy thing. He's on the left side, so at least it's somewhat correct, right, Brad? So let me talk to you a little bit. I'm gonna brag about this new job you got after you pull out of here. Tell me something good about today.
Oh my God, well, we didn't die of heat stroke, so we feel pretty positive about things.
So I already told them that we were roasting our armadillos last night. So today was better temperature-wise. Did you guys compete well?
We did really good until about half an hour ago. We were talking about how great the day had been, and we missed a sign when we were doing that. So then we went into a full hack mode on Gary and Gina across.
Oh, on the Super Pros. I like it. That's the best team to hack off on. Pull on up here. My friend... Dan Stahl, Brad Phillips. Brad just took a job as the executive director of LeMay America's Car Museum in Tacoma, Washington. Killer museum. They've hired the best guy in the world for that job. Really cool car. Here's some guys doing it for their first time. Stop right here. My friend Conrad Doss out of Woodlands, Texas. These Texas boys. Warren Rumpel's his navigator. They decided they wanted to do great race. The great Curtis Graff showed them the way and the light. So... he's like, well, what am I going to do this race in? So he scooped up this sweet little 58 Corvette. How's it going? I'm sorry, Warren, you're the driver. Sorry, I've got it backwards every time. So this is a little 2-owner car. You've sort of oversaw the getting this car ready to rally, right? You guys told me all about it. It looks spectacular. It's a wonderful car. You having a good time too, champion?
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Get it, boys. Park that car. See, if you can't sing well, but you're a Texan, you can do that every time. It's no big deal, right? Brings them on in. Hey, here's some young guys. These are my boys right here. These guys work for Haggerty, the caretaker of this legendary car. It's a 1917 Peerless. It's called the Green Dragon. It has an early V8 in it. Driving here is my buddy Kyle Smith. He's into old cars and motorcycles. Brett Laronis into cars. He's trying to sell me his Corvette because he bought another Corvette. Love you guys. Spectacular car. I love that you get to play with this thing. This car has more miles and more appearances in great race than any car on planet Earth. I'm so jealous of you. Come on up here and see if John can do you right. 1917 Peerless, formerly campaigned by John Hollingsworth. My 8-year-old boy might be too cool for cars, but I guarantee you he'd still call this Doc. 1952 Hudson Hornet is fabulous. Neil and Sabrina Soquette out of Camarillo, California. Neil's the driver. Sabrina tells him what time it is all the time. Team Vibe number 3, Sportsman Division competitors. Welcome to Nocona. Love that car. Boy, they just sit right. They always sit right. Got a lot of rookies this year. Makes my heart smile. These rookies, they led with a big overhand right. This is their first great race, and they're bringing this bad boy out. A 1931 Packard 833 convertible coupe. Barry Lowe's the driver. Randy Kimring is the navigator. They call Burlington, North Carolina home. They're rookies, but my goodness gracious, they're pros when it comes to picking cars. How about those big, nice Firestone white wall tires from Coker Tire Company, my employer? What a great car. That is an epic car. Gadsby Auto Works, they call themselves. I mentioned the name Stalls. Group Stall is a supporter of this race with goods and services. Their whole family comes on the thing too. Here's a father and son team out of Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan. Brett Stahl, dear old dad's the driver, who's done 8 races. His son's been in the back seat a bunch, but in the last 3 races, he's done it in the front seat. Noah Stahl, ace navigator, Stahl and Sons. Welcome to Nocona. The car looks great. It's a 1941 Packard supercharged convertible. Are you kidding me? It's a fine car. Brett and his boy have been doing this for a couple of years. I think that's the neatest thing. Look at these jokers. I call these guys jokers because they razz me all the time. Beautiful 1964 Chevrolet Impala SS. Peter LaMountain out of Oxford, Massachusetts. The driver, Bill Sacramone out of Port Orange, Florida. He's a navigator. Punches him in the ear every time he doesn't do right. That's a really nice car. That car has a bunch of great race miles on it. Sponsored by Rob's Automotive in Dudley, Mass. Rob's preps about 8 or 9 rally cars every year. If in 1966 you were the FBI and you ordered a car, it looked just like this. How about this Coronet? 66 Coronet. It's a factory 426 Hemi. Super bad car. I know it looks rough, but don't let that fool you. They've raced this car, rallied this car several times. They tried it with a 17 Hudson this year, broke the axle, went back to Old Faithful here. Tom Hicks, Bill Soket out of Connecticut. Really cool. 426 Hemi. That really is a car ordered by the FBI, by the way. Oh, defending Great Race champions, father and son team out of Fairport, New York. Howard Sharp, the pilot, his son Doug, the master navigator. They've won 3 great races, all in this modern era in the last 10 years, including the last race in 2019. And you can bet your armadillos they're going to try to win this one this year. Bring it on in, boys. Prepare yourselves for a whole lot of madness. Here comes the craziest great race team of all time. My friends, and a good place to get a cool drink in the evenings at the hotel. The Wandering Troubadours of Finland. Are you kidding me? A 1918 American LaFrance Speedster. It's a 9.5 liter crazy motor. These boys are rowdy. Jay Ryden out of Ottertail County, Minnesota's the driver. Chris Brungard out of Fargo, North Dakota's the navigator. I love these guys. We love their spirit. Huh? Say what? So these guys, they don't know how to have fun, right? But double chain drive car, huge motor. Bring it on in, Wandering Troubadours of Finland. You can't even breathe around this thing. It's insane. Oh my gosh, that's a legendary great race car. They're rewriting their own legend. American LaFrance's and service trucks. And then early hot rodders would cut the fire trucks down into speedsters because they had a big, huge motor. That's 9.5 liter 4-cylinder. Makes about 800 pounds of torque, about 60 horsepower. They put shorty headers on it, and I still can't hear. Hey girls, all the way from Noonan, Georgia, it's the Dixie Darling, sponsored by Rome Grinding Solution. Olivia Gentry, Jenna Gentry, I'm going to say it, I don't know if it's completely true, they were the youngest team ever in Great Race to compete at 14 and 16 years old just a couple of years ago. All they did was win the rookie division straight out of the gate. How did they do that? Well, they've been coming on Great Race since they were able to walk. Their mom is a competitor. I'll introduce her in a little bit. Olivia and Jenna Gentry, the Dixie Darlings. Don't let their sweet smiles fool you. They are They are killers on the course. They're excellent racers. I wonder if these guys have a sense of humor. The Blues Brothers, Dennis O'Connell out of Warner, New Hampshire, Stephen Hebert out of Westlake, Louisiana, 1974 Plymouth Bluesmobile. They're on a mission from race director Jeff Stone. See if we can get our hearts and minds right. My friend, my great friend, retired from Hemmings Motor News, Jim Minetto, out of Bennington, Vermont, this year for the first time ever in his 12th grade race. He's got his daughter with him. All they're doing is getting out there and kicking major butt. They got to cut an ace or two on their very first trophy run, the little pre-race run they do. 32 Ford Speedster. Jim was the publisher of Hemmings Motor News for a gazillion years. He's recently retired, trying to just live his best life and doing the best. He brought his daughter, and all of a sudden he's super competitive on Great Race. Nice little car here. How about a 65 Mercury Comet convertible? Really cool car. 3-speed on the tree. Kind of got a cool set of options. Kathy Harper out of Jefferson, Texas, handling the driving duties. Old Dad. Harvey Lednick out of St. Augustine, Florida, is the navigator. Another Stahl car here. Trevor Stahl, the navigator. I don't know if you can hear it. It's got a flathead Ford V8. Josh Hall's the driver. Bring it in, boys. 1932 Ford Speedster. Motor City Racing. They won rookie class in 2015. And my humble opinion is time for them to step up and win the whole thing. I think $150,000, $160,000 in total prize money. Big chunk of that goes to the winner. The Stalls are wonderful supporters of the race, and my favorite part is that their whole family, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, the whole enchilada comes. Everybody does something, has a good time. They think they've got 4 or 5 cars in this event. That 16 Hudson was one of them. The 41 Packard's one of them. 32 Ford is one of their cars. He probably is. Great race director of competition, John Klassen has been involved with Great Race since the inception in 1983 in one role or another. It's amazing the things that he's done. He's designed these courses, not just for Great Race, but for other rally competitions and tours. I mean, literally millions of miles he's designed for competition. Who I was just talking to. Car number 28, Mr. Ed Habits out of Crowley, Louisiana, driving this little 28 Model A Speedster. Got Ken Fredette from Carriacrow, Louisiana as a navigator. These old boys just take it like it comes in a car that just keeps on going. I love it. They're expert division competitors. Ed Habits from Crowley. We had a Great Race lunch stop in Crowley about, 6 years ago. It was for sure the best lunch food we've ever had. I think every granny in Crowley came out and showed out. It was amazing. Talking about the Stahl group, I told you they bring everybody. Well, here's the matriarch and patriarch of this outfit, driving this 67 Pontiac GTO, car number 90, Miss Mary Stahl, two-wheel Mary, bring it on in. Husband Ted Stahl, they're out of Michigan. Ted's a navigator. He gets to tell Miss Mary what to do. This is the only time he gets to pull that trick. Car number 90, 1967 Pontiac GTO convertible. We always have to thank Ted and Mary for everything they do for the race. Not just, they are goods and services and sponsorships and all of that, but they have such a wonderful family and big smiles. We get to hang out with them. just a big old part of each other's family on this great race. I could probably bring an extra car and just throw it in with theirs and get it brought down here. I think I can pull that trick. Say I'm their lost cousin Jason. Wing it. How about our sponsors? Hemmings Motor News out of Vermont. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when we bought this deal to keep it alive, Hemmings and Haggerty stepped up and said we want in, and they've been supporters ever since. Reliable carriers, it's amazing. They bring 40, 50, 60 of the great racers to the beginning and home from every great race every year. They're wonderful sponsors. They also run kind of the big sweep for cars that break down a long way from home, get to ride on the reliable truck. Quick Everett's Garage, pretty cool little hot rod shop there in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but they're not just hot rods. They work on exotic European cars. They work on anything. Al Everett and Perry run one of the coolest shops there is. There is literally nothing they can't fix or upgrade on your car, and they work on some rad stuff. I think you can follow them on Instagram. Do you follow them, Nick? You're old school? Okay, I respect that. Perry and Hal have a really good shop. They shut their shop down to come with us and run slow sweep on Great Race, picking up broken cars, trying to fix them and get them back on the road. They love the race and the race family, so they shut their shop down and let the workers stay at the house for a couple of days while we do this thing every single year. Thank you to Quick Everett's Garage. Don't forget about my girlfriends. I got a bunch of them. They're all over there selling t-shirts and programs, including Granbury, Texas's own Sister McRae is probably over there somewhere. The Great Race, souvenirs, $20 t-shirts. There's a couple of $30 fancier shirts. $5 program, every driver, navigator, their car, where they're from, a little story about the race is pretty cool. Young people sometimes like to get a little autograph or something if they see a really cool car they like. Program's a couple of bucks. Love for you to have it. Go see them over there if you're interested, or just go over there and tell them thanks and welcome to Nocona. No big deal.
Yo, I'm standing out here watching 1916, 1919 cars coming through town.
Hey, can I talk to y'all?
Yeah.
It's been a few minutes. Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
Nocona's right?
We're not worried.
All right. I didn't want to go too much further, and somebody come up to me and hug me in that weird way like 3 hours from now and be like, man, you did a good job. It's like Nocona or something. Like, oh, cool. I need people to put their arm around me way earlier than that. This is cool. We went in 2019, we went up the West Coast from Southern California all the way up to Washington. It was amazing. But every single place I got gas, everywhere I went, everybody was like, you're not from around here, are you? It kind of got on my nerves a little bit. So I figured we're going through the heartland. You all should understand me good enough for government work. Oh, father-daughter team in a beautiful 1934 Ford Indy Racer. Neil Myerscough, the driver. Daughter Shanna Banana Chadraw out of Greenville, South Carolina. Welcome to Nocona. Is it hot or what? This is her 4th great race. First time in that particular car. I think they've stepped their game up with that little Indy Racer. Bonlight Special. They got nicknames. He's Catfish. She's Banana. Their old car had it written on the roof, kind of like race script, but that car didn't have a roof. Here is the baddest 52 Dodge M37 you will ever see. This thing is killer. Please welcome out of Marcy, New York, Dominic Celia, the driver, Michael Spina out of the great state of New York as well, the Navigator. Beautiful truck. They are rookies. That's what they chose to do their first great race in. Every flavor of ice cream, folks, I'm telling you. I gave them such a hard time at registration about picking basically a farm truck to do this thing in, and then I saw it, and now I get it. Those young girls that are such good, great racers, their mama's the navigator of this 32 Ford, cousin Jody's the driver, and they're not messing around. These guys have won this thing, been a bridesmaid a time or 2 or 3. We love these guys. They're out of Noonan, Georgia, just south of Atlanta. They're Grand Championship Division competitors. Jody's granddaddy, Beth's daddy, passed away a decade ago. This was his car. He rallied with Beth in this car. We retired. We have retired the... I'm not sure what's happening right now. Anyway, they retired the number of that car. All right, we'll try it again. Maybe we got hacked by the Martians. No big deal. Anyway, Beth's daddy and her rallied in that little 32 Ford for a bunch of years. He passed away. Joe passed away. It was really sad. And Beth and her nephew just said, well, let's go do this thing. All they did was start competing real hard, and they won the dadgum thing the same year that Beth's girls won the rookie division at 14 and 16 years old. That family's on fire. They're dirt track racers. They're a wonderful family. They bring the whole crew as well. Jody's kids come. They're going to go through the same cycle as the rest of them. How about a 1938 Buick sedan? Nice car. David Dickinson out of Malvern, Arkansas. John Jenkins out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. They're rookies. They picked, whoop, stop right there. Car number 125. Sorry, I'm going to set my gain up here. How's that? How's that? Something happened to that mic a while ago. Sorry to put my tinfoil hat on, that's for sure. You go spend 2 weeks on the road with people like this around the clock, you get to be family pretty quick. And you don't realize it until you leave them, and then you come back a year later, in this case 2 years later, and it's like it's only been 2 days since you've seen them. Pretty cool deal, great race, really special. A lot of people want to do something cool in their old car, and that's what it's all about, but you end up forgetting about that as long as your car doesn't break down, and it ends up being about people, cool towns, seeing America the way it ought to be. We do not want to go to big old towns. We want to go through the heart of America and see people that want to engage and love on us and talk about the cars and the kids and all of that. Speaking of which, father-daughter team, Jeff Hermanson, Kylie Hermanson, out of the great state of Indiana, and a beautiful little 39 Ford pickup car, truck number 82, in their 4th great race. I met Jeff at Northern California in an olive orchard working on that truck in his very first great race. Oh yeah, same thing, no more aliens, huh? We're back in the game? We're getting a little bit of heat here. Oh yeah, we're getting it now. Jeff was on the side of the road putting a fuel pump on that truck. It ended up being something that haunted him for a while. It was a goofy distributor. Those flatheads have a funky bushing, and while it was running, it was bouncing up and down and kind of breaking up the ignition, making it run like junk. Oh, we had a fun time at lunch trying to debate about the color of this car. One man in the crowd swore it was frost blue. A 1969 Chevrolet Corvette convertible. These are rookies, and boy, they picked a good car. Bob Thompson out of Oregon, Wade McDougal, Navigator out of Washington. True rookies, and they picked a fine car to do the first great race in. Year to year, the car that we have multiples of changes. Sometimes it's Mustangs, it's been Camaros one year. This is the year of the Corvette. I think there's 13, 14, or 15 Corvettes. Almost every flavor of eligible older than 1974 cars we have represented in Corvette generations as well. I personally like Corvettes. I really like the chrome bumper C3s like that 69 through 72, 68 through 72. I'd be down with that if I had an extra 40 grand laying around I didn't want to hang on to. Car number 86, a 1965 Rambler Ambassador convertible. They purchased this car in 2013 from the original owner, John and Joyce Lukey, out of Columbus, Indiana. Really cool car. This is their second great race, and I think they've had a lovely car. A perfect rally car, really. It just gets on down the road, right? No fuss. It's wonderful. You go check out the inside when he's down here in Park for May. Come on and see John here. John and Joyce Lukey out of Indiana, 65 Rambler Ambassador. Won't see another one of those at Walmart after a while. I don't know. I like to say every car is rare. I don't know if it's rare, but in the way it's optioned and how nice it is, probably is pretty rare. Ooh, thank you, man. You're shaking off on the power strip there. Maybe that's what we did a while ago. I think this next car has a pretty cool story as well. There's somewhere right at 100 cars remaining in the event. We sign up about 120, 130 every year, but with the big 2-year kind of run up on this event, and the heat and all of that, and the stupid pandemic thing still happening, some people didn't come. None of the international teams, there's 10 to 20 international teams every year, none of them came this year. That was a bummer. But we were able to get some rookies in and get the field packed. I think we left San Antonio with 105 or so yesterday morning. Car number 33, bring it on in here. Lawrence and Laurie Betancourt out of California, in a car that's been in the family since the day it was new. A 1948 Plymouth Special. Every single special occasion and wedding in this family has taken place in that car. All the family weddings. Lawrence is a retired firefighter. Married 36 years. Really cool with Plymouth. Car number 5, can you hear me? Come on in, Anna Holder out of Seattle, Washington. Love this girl. Daughter Della, doing the navigation, 64.5 Mustang Coupe. Did this say, my note's terrible, you drove to San Antonio from Seattle in this? That is so cool, girl. I love it. How'd y'all have a good day? Good enough? You're smiling, bring it on in here. Anna and Della, they're awesome. Anna did the great race in this is her second one. The last great race she did in a family car, a Model A she inherited, didn't know anything about it. She had to beg, borrow, and steal club help to get the car restored, and then made that memory in her grandfather's car. Here's some rookies. I think they've got one of the coolest cars out here. A 1963 Ford Falcon convertible. It's a beautiful car. Mary Jane Horn, Dylan Horn, mother and son team out of Port Orange, Florida, just across the water from Ponce Inlet. I like it. And the lighthouse, that's a super cool lighthouse you got down there. I really like that. Come on in here and see John. Mary Jane was giving me business at the registration. I didn't realize how sassy she was. I was doing my normal deal, and she gave it back to me. Said she had a Falcon. I was like, it's just a Falcon. Turns out it's a really cool Falcon, convertible. 260 V8. Car number 47, Carl and Mary Webster out of St. Charles, Missouri. We'll be close to their home here in a couple of days. 1957 Porsche Speedster Tribute. Really cool. Gulf livery kind of style on this thing. Team Cap Gator. Carl and Mary, how you doing today? Thumbs up? Did you have the top down all day? Oh no. Attaboy. Bring it on in here. Talk to John. I love that car. I love the colors. I love their spirit. That's a zippy little thing, too. I don't think that car weighs 1,200 pounds soaking wet full of wool sweaters. Their first choice was a Volvo station wagon. Plan B looks pretty cool, too. 1968 Volvo 1800S, car number 127. John and David Hout. John hails from Edmond, Oklahoma. David out of Milpitas. Is that close enough? Milpitas, California, the Navigator. Their Plan B, a 68 Volvo 1800S. That car is wonderful, and it probably hasn't skipped a beat, has it? It runs like a top. They're Volvo guys in that car. I think we have, three Volvos in this deal? PV 544, and this one, 1800. Two Volvos. Well, the other one's right behind them. You'll get to see a little Volvo history here from 1968. We're going to go back 10 years on the next car. Bring it on in here, boys. Welcome to Nocona. Turn the time machine on. Team number 105, Terry Riggs out of Fletcher, Vermont's the driver. Steve Boutin lives in Essex, Vermont's the navigator. 1959 Volvo PV 544. Super cool car, runs like a top. They're close to Burlington. It's their 5th great race. We stopped in Burlington, Vermont a couple of years ago for an evening stop. It's about 45 degrees cooler than it is right here right now, if I remember correctly. That happened the last race in 2019 in Riverside. It was like 85 degrees, 80 degrees, I don't remember, but every day you had to get a little bit more clothing, you know, hoodies and jackets and stuff. By the time I got into Oregon, it was downright chilly in the morning. Yeah, there was snow in Crater Lake. It was on top of the 3,000 foot hill. It was 30 degrees and snowing. It had about 6 feet of snow on the top of that.
They're back not signed up. Sign up down below. And
Car 49, come on in here. Kurt Bug out of Las Casas, Tennessee. They've had a little change up. I'm going to get some help from my girl April here. 1961 Nash Metropolitan. This is the coolest chicken nugget on the whole deal. I've had this car a bunch of years, been slowly kind of working it up. Tell me, April, don't be shy. Tell me exactly what happened to our original Navigator.
All right, so his brother was going to navigate with him, and on the way to San Antonio, they found out that his wife, the brother's wife, got a kidney transplant, and so he headed back to Nashville, and his wife Sandy is now his new navigator.
Awesome. So they had to switch out because his brother's wife became eligible, got a kidney, and they had to turn around and haul tail to and she got it. It's done. Everybody's happy. Well, that is amazing. And they're hardcore because they're still great racing. Car number 25, come on in here. It's their first go-round. I love to see what these rookies think is the best idea. These cats are from Alabama, Team Alabama. They got a 61 Cadillac Series 62 convertible. It is gigantic and I love it. Finn car. Darren Dallenberg out of Theodore, Alabama. Sam Barnett out of Homewood, Alabama, just up the way from the Golden Rule Barbecue. They bought that car back in the 80s and have done all kind of cool car reviews. Oh, stop right there. John will totally get you. Sorry. Just trying to help those rookies out. They were going to get a ringing that they didn't want. Another little Model A here. Car 35, come on in. Bob and Lois Beers out of Fort Collins, Colorado. 1931 Ford Model A. It's a Victoria body, kind of a rare Model A setup. This is their second great race. Bob told me to tell you all their combined age in that car is over 150 years. I don't think he cleared that with Lois when he decided we should say that. This card note says, tell them our combined age is 150 years. Okay. Consider it done. Bob, come on in here. Car number 61. It's a 1961 Volkswagen Beetle ragtop. It is a factory ragtop. Navigator Bruce Birnbaum, Bob and Bruce out of El Segundo, California. Welcome to Nocona, Texas. Bob's daily driver, by the way. He drives that little car every day because you know it rains about every 31 years in El Segundo. No problems. This is their 6th great race for that team. That's a really cool car. I used to make him get up and stand up out of the roof of that thing, but he told me he's too old for that mess, so I quit. Car number 113, Wynn Brown, David Valadez out of the great state of Washington, in a really cool 1941 Ford Super Deluxe. Yeah, attaboy, Bob! I thought you were too old for that mess. He's flexing. I love it. I was going to make a joke about how he might not fit out of the roof of that car anymore, but I wasn't going to do that now. He's flexed on me. 41 Ford out of the great state of Washington. Wynn and David, how was your day? Is there any product in the back of that car? It's squatting a little bit. Any distilled happiness or no? I don't know where I'm from. These cars only do one thing. Sorry, you don't get it, do you? In Washington, they must not run that stuff. East Tennessee, that might as well be a track. No, oh, you got that. Oh, I forgot. They got some. They're farmers. They're farmers in Washington. Welcome to Tacoma. I don't know what to do with that. It's a family event. We probably have that in East Tennessee too, but we don't run it in 40 and 41 Fords, I'm guessing. It's cool. I told you I was a Corvette nerd. Car number 77. Come on in here. These boys will pull right up. I'd love to talk about it. Really cool. First year of the C2 1963 Corvette Coupe with the cool split window in the back. It's a 4-speed. He's had this car since 1966. Craig Carter, Marie Carter Darling. Craig's from South Carolina. Marie lives in New York. Father and daughter team. That car has a race history. Back in the early 70s, it was raced, I guess, pro, like semi-pro, raced around Lime Rock and whatnot. Looks pretty good now, though. 1963 split window, a 1-year only deal. 1964 Chevrolet opened up the back window completely. Way back in 1947, if you didn't want to fool around with those Fords, this is what you'd drive. Car number 98. A Chevrolet Style Master from 1947. Tom and John Wagner. Tom hails from Ohio. John's from Michigan. The car is amazing. This is their 9th grade race. It hadn't all been in that car, has it? That is a beautiful car. It doesn't make a lot of noise. Nicknamed Sue. They picked it up in Sioux Falls and drove it all back. It's a wonderful little Chevrolet. You don't see a whole lot of late 40s Chevrolets laying around that hadn't been cut up. Oh my gosh, I don't think I have the energy for these next two. I said at lunch that these were the baddest mustaches on the race, and this dude walks up with this greased up thing, and it's just like Longhorns. And I was like, well, I didn't know. I thought I had the baddest mustaches right here. Number 13, Paul and Dave Dorth, brothers out of Ohio, in a family car owned since new 1967 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser in their 5th grade race. The Dorth brothers. Lean out into the light. Show off that magnificence. Yeah, boy. No, don't pucker up. I ain't coming over there. I love these boys. We sometimes have a cool beverage in the evenings in the parking lot. Talk about when I grow up, I want to have a mustache as rowdy as both of you. Go see John up here. The Dorths, they're awesome. They ran into Great Race in Warren. They ran into Great Race and just saw it as spectators, followed it 2 stops several years ago, and they were in love, and they got their family car out of the barn and came on out and been doing it ever since. Car 118, come on in here. Tom and Kara Clark. They're rookies in 1955 Thunderbird. Not a bad choice for a rookie campaign, huh? That's a beautiful car. Black and hot. It is hotter than a pepper patch, I guarantee. Come on in here, Tom. The Thirsty Birds. Tom and Kara got a little history doing a little road racing. Kara drove a 1970 little Datsun 510. Tom's a late 60s Porsche guy. They've slowed it down a little bit, got something a little shinier, doing a little controlled precision rallying, making new memories in an absolutely gorgeous T-Bird. Did you get those wheels and tires from Coker? Attaboy, I got 2 kids. I appreciate that. That's where I work. I don't get commission off of that, but at least the company stays open, huh? Nice Thunderbird wires, white wall radial tires. Car number 94, Tim and Marlene Mangan out of the wonderful city of Bend, Oregon. I had the pleasure of being there 2 years ago in their 6th grade race, 1965 Ford Fairlane. It's a beautiful car. Welcome to Nocona. You guys doing all right? It's a skosh hotter than it is in Bend right now. You know what? That's the temperature at home right now. A high of 75. Bless your hearts. That was tough to get through, I know. They were complaining with sunscreen out. Pull up here and see John. Welcome to Nocona. Mangans, that's a really cool car. Bend, Oregon was actually a pretty cool little town. Oh, it was Bend, Oregon where the Blockbuster was? We were riding to the hotel after just like a night like this. We were riding and my buddy's driving the van. I was looking out the window and he stopped and I looked up and there was a Blockbuster video with people coming out of it. And I literally stepped out of the car and just started walking toward it. I'm like, what is happening? It's the last Blockbuster on Earth, and it's working just like it was 1994. It was amazing. I took so many pictures. Probably the most popular social media post I've ever made in my life because nobody could believe it. In the whole world, I drove right past it in Bend, Oregon. That's pretty amazing. Cool story, huh? No, come on. 139, 1971 Buick GS convertible. You won't see another one of these maybe ever again in your life. Rich and Brent Lederer. Rich calls Arlington, Vermont home. Brent's out of Richmond, Virginia. 71 Buick GS convertible. Nice. Father and son team. Family car since new. It's absolutely gorgeous. Pull up here and see John. Show that bad boy off. Park it. I'm sure it's nice and cool in there, black on black on black. That's a really cool car. You don't see a lot of those. Oh my gosh, these guys get on my nerves. He makes me say something I don't want to. Car number 88, Christian Lauber out of Mansfield, Ohio is the driver. Brandon Gregg out of the great state of Virginia. Virginia Beach is the navigator. This joker makes me say, go Buckeyes, every time he comes through the gate. I don't know what it means.